Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to teamfortress.tv. We have more coverage of RGL Invite. This is season 4, this is week 7B. We have Morning Light versus Corsia. I'm joined tonight by Looster on production, along with Scream and the BILLDOZER. What's going on tonight?
I guess I'll go first. I'm doing pretty well. I haven't really been following Team Fortress 2 super closely this season. Excited to see what all is going to be happening. But I've heard that we had some interesting matches this week, and I'm excited to see how this one goes specifically.
I just want to see Soapy Meister hit some sick air shots, dude. The man himself.
I'm very excited to watch this match. We have some very, very, very strong mechanical players on both teams. Both of the roamers in this game, both Trip and Soap, have awesome mechanics, both really good jumpers. Psy Guy and Alex.exe have both been crazy this season, just hitting like every single air pipe, and Brand Slam has been like a pleasant surprise. Like, on this very map that they're playing on tonight, Corsia beat Furiotech, who have been long-standing favorites in an ECA invite. So, the fact that they won is, pretty awesome. It's good to see Furio actually has some competition this season. So, I think we're gonna pull up some stats here at the head-to-head. Alex.exe versus Psy Guy. Let's break it down. Scream, what are you seeing on the stats page?
Well, I see the kills are about even. Looks like Alex.exe is dying, or has a little bit more kills. Dying just actually a little substantially more, about averaging about one more death. KD's are about the same. They look to be pretty even, but Alex is doing almost 50 more DPM than Psy Guy is on average. So I think Alex kind of has a little bit of an advantage here as far as mechanics go, but Psy Guy is a very smart player, and he's been an invite a pretty long time, so.
Yeah, so, I think the big thing that tells for the stats, for me, at least on the demos, is, you see that Alex.exe has, on average, a death, 1.6 more deaths in a map on average, but has more DPM. I think it's kind of your stylistic differences between your two demos. Like, Alex.exe is going to play a little more aggressive, but you're going to get a little more damage, whereas Psy is going to play a little more passive. And, he's going to play a little more conservative, kind of go for, the zero deaths kind of gameplay. Take no risks, but still put out really consistent damage. Yeah, we're looking at the Corsia stats here. I think across the board they've been really, really good. I mean, even coming in as one of the teams from last season, right? They kind of have that core of players. They change, I think, only Cookie Jake leaves, and they move Zilly to medic, and then pick up Trip. I think is that correct?
Is it correct? Does anybody know?
Does anybody know? I don't know. I'm sorry. I've not been paying attention to TF2 as much the last 2 seasons. I know Cookie Jake left, and I want to say Trip was the only replacement, and they moved Zilly to roamer to medic, so to accommodate for that.
Zilly, very experienced invite medic. He fits in very well to that team.
Yeah, I was gonna say he came into invite as a soldier player, so he's no slouch on the soldier class. But I think since getting to invite, he's been a little more known for his medic gameplay. And he's, again, one of those mechanically very, very solid players. And he's always a treat to watch on Medic. And he does a lot of the calling for this team, too, to my understanding. He's a very vocal player. So. And then, I don't know if we want to look at the other thing that I can see is the Medic head-to-head. I don't know if we would look to that. I'm a big fan of the Medic stats as a bit of a Medic player myself.
Yeah, he plays a little bit of Medic, sometimes. For some
once in a while
team.
Once every off season I play it.
Here we go. The crits to Uber ratio. That is interesting. Does that mean that AZN has
not run crits at all if he isn't showing up on that? At least that's how I think it works. That's how it worked at one of the I series. I think that's kind of like a stylistic thing for the Corsia team. Yeah, so they probably used it once, but I think stylistically, you look at both these teams. Neither of them are a particularly demo-centric team. Both of them kind of play around their scouts quite a bit. Particularly the combo scouts like Brand Slam and Sandblast are both big playmakers for their team, and it's not really on the demos so much. So you're not looking at critsing your demo so much as all right, I want to give the Uber to my scout. And so I think that's a stylistic thing you notice for both these teams. And then heals per minute aren't huge, but especially when you start getting above that 1,000 heals per minute mark, that's really kind of talks a lot about your deaths and how many arrows you're hitting, because once you get above that 1,000, It's the minute differences that really get you above that mark. And AZN's kind of at that benchmark of 1,000, but beyond that, you have Zilly, who's almost just shy of 1,100. And I think that's one of the key differences, especially in like a top invite game like this, right? Where I think, these are your expected, top 3 teams with Furio. Those little differences matter quite a bit, especially in like the longer team fights of like who Zilly's choosing to heal on the arrows that he hits versus who AZN's healing. So I think that's going to be something to watch out for, especially on a map like Villa. That's probably going to be a little more chaotic because it's a little newer to the pool. So, and we can look at the Morning Light team stats now, I'm being told.
Run down the roster really quick here. We got Sandblast, Alpha, Soapy Meister making his invite debut this season. Doing really good at Soldier. Dingo is a mainstay in invite. Guy and AZN rounding out the roster. Let's go back to Soapy Meister for a second here. He's averaging, 3 forts KD is pretty good. 3 kills to 4 deaths, that being. I'm pretty impressed with Soap.
Yeah,
honestly.
I mean, especially for a rookie coming into invite, a lot of people talk about like as you kind of get into that like invite level, there's kind of like that wake up season where you realize how good in invite everybody is and how much like every little mistake you make matters. But I think something that's been really interesting about watching Soapy play is that like he really hasn't had that. He's been able to kind of like go from a very little experience, only having really played like a couple of seasons in the last little bit here, and he's just been dropped into invite and he's doing phenomenally well. I think a large part of it is his mechanics. Like I said in the earlier, like both him and Trip are crazy jumpers, but I think Soap's one of the more like little riskier, and he'll kind of flex those mechanics a little more, and he kind of relies on them. So I think it's going to be something to watch out for. Again, we are playing on Villa tonight, which is a map that is a little less standard. So it'll be interesting to see if either of these jumpers have like any cool tech they want to break out, especially because there are lots of like ramps and like little places you could like ramp slide on. So it'd be cool to see if they have any cool jump tech they want to break out.
Yeah, Soap is, from what I've known Soap a really long time, he's a very good jumper. So I'd be surprised if he hasn't already been, like you said in our Discord, he's been in the lab working out some jumps. So it's going to be interesting to see what he can do.
Yeah. And as we are going live, who do you think the players to watch are, Bill?
Well, first of all, you got to watch Soapy Meister, of course, but everybody on Morning Light aside from him is such a mainstay in the game. Everyone is, but in the past I've been very impressed by Brandslam's play. He's a real fragger, considering that he's also relatively new to the invite scene, so I'm interested to see how he does in this match as well.
Yeah, Brandslam, the top fragger here in yesterday's match against Furio, taking their upset win. We'll see how he does tonight. Both the scouts super weak here for Morning Light. Alpha is going to go get a pack. Sandblast is going to get arrowed, so they're back in this mid, but AZN's 40 HP, been spending way too much time in this choke point. Dingo's going to be weak behind. He's going to have to turn around. Both Alpha and Dingo are so weak, and the war of attrition is slowly going the way of Corsia, as Morning Light really has not found any footing in this mid, and Soapy Meister is going to go down in the flank. Dingo didn't get the memo to leave early enough. With both soldiers down, it looks like Corsia is going to earn themselves their first mid fight.
Yeah, and what it comes down to is what it comes down on. Basically, every mid is that Corsia was able to take high ground sooner, and they were able to punish Morning Light for not taking high ground quick enough. You saw a lot of spam coming across from advantageous positions, and after the first 10 or 15 seconds, Morning Light just wasn't able to reestablish themselves, and then he sort of positioned to try and start pushing it all. So we're going to see Morning Light on last now, setting up a hold. We have an Engineer Sentry going up on that far right side. No off classes coming out from Corsia, and they're looking like they want to try and figure out how to push this.
Yeah, and very crucially, AZN did live on the mid. I think he kind of made a positioning mistake, and again, going back to the thing I was saying where every little factor matters. I think AZN's positioning actually really lost him that mid because he never got into mid, but because he did play so passively, he was able to live, and he made it out. So, gonna be even Ubers here, as presumably Corsia is going to try and find a way to break this stalemate. Trip's going to jump into the sentry gun and get absolutely denied. He has 3 players shooting at him, but Sai is going to die to the spam from Alex.exe, just shooting pipes at the sentry gun.
That's a pretty crazy pick. They are down 2 players or so. I think Sai is probably going to spawn in time, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Corsia try and go for some sort of exchange here. Maybe try and pick the sentry, get a bunch of damage, and then get their spawns. But it looks like Sagai's going to come up here, and it's going to even out again. They're probably going to run another sack. Looks like they're trying to run it through right side here. No, they're going to get out again.
I was gonna say, the last time I watched two invite teams play this map when I casted it earlier in the season, or maybe one of the map cups, picking the roamer on the other side, as you can see, Soap's under a lot of pressure. They are gonna pick him. They are gonna trade it out for Ash though, and trips in so deep, gonna get shot up by the sentry. Finds one rocket into AZN, not gonna find a follow-up rocket though. Saga is gonna be bombing in as well into last, surfing some damage around there. There's going to be a trade 2 for 2, both soldiers down, but very crucially, the Uber did come out of Corsia, but AZN has held on to his, so not finding an Uber really an exchange that they were looking for.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what the decision there was to stay in there for Corsia. I think they were trying to see if they could get the forest, maybe go for a trade there, but they weren't able, like, they just should have gotten out once their players died, but it looks like Sandblast, the Uber is going to come out here. Gonna get Trip on the flank. Yite is gonna try and go to last here. Gonna try and get pick up lobby. He's gonna get picked off by Dingo and Sandblast. The backline, Zilly up with about 70 Uber ad. Looks like there's gonna be a leapfrog situation. Oh, Ash going for the medic pick on AZN. Not able to get it. And 3 up for Corsia. Looks like they're probably gonna end up losing mid here, but they do have full Uber, so they're gonna be able to easily take this back probably. Oh no.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Morning Light favors their chances though going into mid. They're very passive on there too. I think they know about the Uber. But it looks like Corsia was expecting them to come to mid, so kind of an awkward standstill as neither team realized what the other one was trying to do. Maybe should have been peeking for a little more information there, trying to find out. But we are going to see the fountain side push here from Corsia, trying to take it slow, seeing if they can get Zilly in completely for free. It opens up for a lot of time for Morning Light to spam, though.
Supermaster are going to get pressured a lot here by Brandsheim. Almost going to get picked off by the Ash spam, and I guess consolation is that he delayed them a lot there, and the Uber is going to come for AZN. But I think Corsia still thinks that they have ad here. They're going to get across point here with this Uber. Uber is going to be used. AZN is going to pop. And it looks like this is going to be about an even exchange. Zilly just getting out with this Uber. They know it's not a very favorable exchange. And it looks like we're going to probably stalemate again. It's Team Fortress 2, you know. Stalemate game.
Yeah, we are going to be stalemating
the fact that we had no losses in that fight. Very, very high tense, fight that I think, if Corsia had kind of recognized that Morning Light weren't...
Oh, trips in! Soap air shots him. Oh. But Zilly dies! Zilly died to a trap! They just pushed into last. They were trying to see if they could pressure into last here as Ash and Yite went for a bit of a 2-man sack, but it's just going to be AZN on the point. They just run into last. Zilly died to a trap in the choke point, and they just doubled down. They, everybody turned back around, just ran in, and they were able to find the frags, and the first round goes through to Corsia.
It's a well-known fact in TF2, in its long and storied history. The med sack is a very, it's a very risky play that can really work out well for you in the end. As you've just seen here, how huge of an advantage it generated for Corsia.
Alright, mid fight number 2 here. See if Morning Light is able to find a redemption mid here. Didn't really find anything in the last one, as it looks like Alpha's going to be the one taking the high ground here along with Dingo. Bit of a trade up. Trap's going to be high bombing, but Soap on the other side of things also in. Ash going to be trying to follow up. Dingo's going to be 1v1ing Trip here in the choke point, finding so much damage on each other, but Alex.exe is going to walk across the point and find Alpha. Yite down on the other side of things. Everybody down so weak on the side of Morning Light. They are going to be trading out frags. It's 2 soldiers versus a demo and a medic. Soap's going to be in, trying to distract here. Dingo's going to come in on the follow-up. Can Dingo find anything? Finds one rocket into Zilly, but Zilly with the surf out. Looks like he's going to survive this mid. Hold on to his Uber. For the time being, Morning Light has mid, but they aren't going to hold it for very long.
I think there's a little bit of a miscommunication there. I really think they could have picked off Zilly if Soap and Dingo actually coordinated well enough there. Looks like they're going to get mid, but... Yeah.
Soap was coming back into mid. He went behind very early, and he was re-engaging into mid right as Dingo was backing out. And if there had been a little bit better communication between those two, this could be looking like a very different second round for Morning Light.
Yeah, the Uber's going to come out here on second. I'm not really sure why they used here. They're not really looking to get much. Actually, Sandblast is going to feed in the lobby area.
They have 3 people trapped top right, though.
That's true. Ash is going to get picked off here. Does a shoot load of damage. And looks like, yeah, Morning Light is down 3 here. Tripper's going to go for the sack onto the medic. They're getting really aggressive into this last.
He's down at 99!
It's crazy. trip in for the salvage play for his team. Getting... Oh my
Zilly
lord.
goes down too.
Look at this crumble almost by Corsia here.
Oh,
Everyone
Alpha's
getting kicked
shredding
off.
them. It's
Alpha
just
no
Alpha.
1v2.
No way.
Alpha's 10 HP. If he resubs, Ash might be able to get on the point while Alpha's in spawn. Ash is jumping to point. Are they going to be able to stop it?
Get their
He's juggling the
Soapy
scout. Oh, so barely got there in time.
Soapy Meister with the great clutch, great awareness of what was happening there on that last point when players were coming up. Alpha may be lacking that a little bit as he backed off the point. However, that is going to be the second point, more than likely being regained by Morning Light. Brand Slam going down to the bomb.
The bomb site. Team Fortress 2 bomb site.
I didn't say bomb site. It looks like Corsia are going to be able to force Morning Light back to last. There's not really any sort of uber advantage that you could really substantiate for a push. And with Dingo and Alpha both being done for Morning Light, this may just be a dry push coming out of Corsia. Brand Slam went down early, and Yike goes down immediately, meaning that there's no scouts for Corsia right now. And you're going to see them unable to really initiate in the way that they want with this fight because of it. They're going to back out immediately, and miraculously with that Yite pick, Morning Light is going to get a chance to catch their breath to try and set this up the way that they want to. And they're going to be even pushing forward more aggressively with players already getting on second point. Dingo is going to be punished for it going down, and we have Morning Light kind of struggling to get out of this lobby area. Because we've seen such a strong position taken out of Corsia, they're going to pop their Uber immediately, pushing Morning Light back. AZN does have his Uber, but he doesn't really want to use it if he can help it. Both soldiers down for Morning Light, so they're going to just stand back on last. They're going to be able to have this Uber. They're going to have, honestly, a good 40-45 seconds to try and set this up the way they want to. However, we do have a soldier bombing into the back from Corsia. I don't know who that is offhand. Zilly goes down in the back, going to put an immediate, huge Uber advantage for AZN, who uses Uber, not able to find a whole lot.
Oh, yeah, on the point, no!
Back capping the point to end that all off.
We had a Sandblast.
Yite too.
We had a Sandblast Fortress 2 Uber there, trying to get some picks, not really able to get a lot done. Corsia does a great job of scattering, as it's really easy to do with scout Ubers in tight corridors, and they just cap the point. It's that easy.
2-0 here for Corsia. A bit of a toss-up on the second mid-fight. Morning Light kind of won it in turn, but they weren't able to get that first cap, and Zill was able to repush it and get that second round. AZN gets double-bombed early in the mid. Ash on the follow-up bomb going to take him down. Alpha dies as well, but they traded up for two soldiers on the other side of things, as it looks like a bit of a stutter there. Dingo gets pre-fired, going to get launched straight up in the air, going to get stickied as he lands. As Soapy Meister's going to use that opening to bomb in, find about 50 damage into Zilly, but not enough to take him down. It looks like Corsia is going to claim the second mid-fight, or the third mid-fight, I'm sorry.
I feel like there's a miscommunication there, because, like, when your medic's dead, usually your entire team goes for the pick, and I'm not sure why Psy Guy and I think whoever the second scout was just gave up, basically didn't commit for it.
Do you know what word comes to mind when I look at the difference between these two teams? I'm gonna say discipline. When it comes down to it, it looks like Corsia is a lot more disciplined in the way that they act and how they position themselves compared to Morning Light. And I know that we're only 2 rounds in, but we've had no shortage of fights happening so far, and it seems like Corsia just seems so much more comfortable in these situations.
Yeah, we are going to see AZN getting dangerously close to his Uber by the time Corsia wants to push. AZN dies on 96% though. Not able to cut away from the Uber, so now they have a medic pick. They're going to find Dingo as a consolation prize as well. If Morning Light's able to buy enough time here, they might be able to get their spawns and hold on, but it's not looking good for them now. 7 seconds left on the respawners here. Ash going to bomb across, find a bunch of damage, and Soapy going to claim that one as Soap tries to counter jump him. Alpha's going to trade out with Alex.exe here, but they are going to get their spawns, but it's just Sai was to delay on the point, and the spawns aren't able to get out in time, and it's 3-0 to start the half. As Corsia is 3-0 going into half.
It was a 12-minute first half also.
But it was a very back and forth first half. So, I mean, that's good to see. But yeah, I think your point about discipline, I think it makes a lot of sense. Because I think the deciding factor between these two teams right now is Morning Light isn't very disciplined. They are looking at a lot of the doorways, and they're kind of losing track of like what they should be looking at in particular holds. And I think they're overcommitting to one thing. And Corsia is doing a really good job of just abusing that. Like, all right, fine, we'll give you this one pick, but you have 5 sets of eyes looking at this one person. We're just going to run at you, and we have 5 players that aren't being looked at that are shooting at you. Yeah,
if I can, share a little more of an idea on this. I'm not going to claim to be some TF2 invite super brain or something. I mean, I've been around. I've coached a few teams. It's whatever. But I think that, Morning Light is not for lack of skill, not for lack of mechanics. They just need to be sure that they all have the same goal in mind in any given fight, and that's not all 6 players, shoot the medic right now and suddenly the game is going to turn around. But, you want to be sure that everybody who knows their role and when they need to start executing a plan related to that.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, it seems like Corsia's team just in general, like, even between their flank and their combo, like, they have a really bad, like, habit of just having their flank or their combo go first. And they're just not coordinated, and then one of them ends up like dying or feeding or something, and it's just not good for their team because they end up being down two or 3 players before the fight's even over.
Yeah, and to take a quick look at the logs, I think Bill and I pointed out in the pregame, but a big player in the logs, tied for top frags and top damaging in the server, is Brand Slam. He is absolutely going wild, and I think his performance against Froyo yesterday was going to be indicative of how he's going to play today, and he's definitely turning up 2 nights in a row. So we are going to be rolling out to our 4th mid fight here. You want to take this one, Bill?
Yeah, I would like to take this one. We have Saigai. He originally goes through those doors first. You see Alex coming through library. Gonna see Sai a little more aggressive in this early mid. However, the bombs for Corsia are going to come out first. Immediate large amounts of damage onto AZN. Punished by Sandblast, going to take him out. Meanwhile, Zilly able to evade SoBemeister without too much trouble. All sorts of damage coming across the point, primarily from Corsia. We're going to see 5 players going down for Morning Light. Just Alpha left alive, currently on second, lucky to escape with his life.
Yeah, and again, I think Morning Light needs to find a way to stop the other team from getting across the point. They're definitely struggling a lot to find any sort of sustain on this mid. And I think part of it is that Zilly and Alex.exe are finding a way to walk across the point, whereas Saigai and AZN are playing a lot more passive wherever they're getting into mid, and they aren't really finding a lot of value after playing their positioning.
Vil is just such an interesting map. The mid feels so claustrophobic when you're playing on it. And it means that if you can get your soldiers in safely, if you can get them in without too much contesting from the other team, they can absolutely wreak havoc. It's a map that you love as a soldier.
The mid is very much like Process, where if you don't get out from behind the rock, then you just lose mid, right? And the Uber is going to come in here from Corsia.
Oh, Alex.exe. Oh, he gets Dingo. Almost got AZN there in the spawn. AZN's able to squeak his way in the spawn. Going to get Saigai as well. 2 picks with the Uber to start this off. They are going to trade it out for Brand Slam, though, as soon as the Uber's over. But they just get on the point. Again, no stickies on the point. Saigai died early. It's been a trend in a lot of these last holds. And they're unable to hold the stickies on the point. And with pressure on the point, you're forced to die on it.
SoBemeister doing his best to make the hero hold there at the end. Able to take down one of the Corsia scouts. However, 5 is better than 1, as we are going to go into this 5th mid fight. This is going to be match point for Corsia if they can take this, and we're going to have Sai with some very aggressive pipes coming out early. However, Dingo going in very aggressively, finding a quick rocket onto Zilly, taking him down with a second. He's going to lose his life for it, but that's a trade that he's happy to make. And with AZN staying alive, as long as no more players go down for Morning Light, we're going to see this as an easy mid fight for them and a possible turning point in this match.
Yep, and a full wipe coming out of Corsia. Really good turnaround here. Alpha going to get on the cap. I think they did a way better job, Morning Light, of getting across point, getting a lot of pressure on the medic and demo, and taking that mid very quickly, showing that they do have the mechanical skill to take it, and they're going to take the second and probably think about going to the last here. Yite is going to have the sentry on right side. I'm assuming this is a default spot here. And it's going to be interesting to see where they come from. Most of the Ubers off of Corsia's side have been coming from the shutter door in main, so I wonder how they'll approach this.
Yeah, Zilly had already about 50% here. Yite was peeking around, trying to get some information while also building up this sentry gun here. Gonna have a level 3 behind the point. I don't think this is scouted, though, from the side of Morning Light. And yeah, Sandboss is getting shot by it. They are gonna find the sentry gun pretty late in their Uber. Sai is gonna be the one to take that down. Dingo's gonna be on the spawn, trying to deny Yite to get out clean. Denies his free heals. Finds a fair amount of damage in the combo, but isn't gonna find much more than that. Dies for that one. Ash is going to be trying to defend his demo man here, but Alex.exe goes down. Alpha's going to trade that one out. Trading on either side here, but Soap and Sandboss are so weak. Sai's going to go down. It's just AZN who's going to try and run for his life, but I don't think he's making it out of this one.
Big
and he's going to get Minecrafted by Ash.
He's going to get Minecrafted. Ash.
Big props to Trip there. We saw Meister and both scouts from Morning Light trying to escape on the far left. Tripwire getting right on top of that hedge, able to pick up an easy 3K to close out that last fight, remove any chances of a back cap. And we're going to see Corsia taking this mid pretty comfortably. They have a full 100% Uber edge. AZN just coming up right now. And, you know, Morning Light needs to figure out how they want to defend this. They do have Alpha on Sniper. Alpha, one of, you know, probably one of the most accomplished offclassers in the game. It would not be unfair to say. He's made magic happen before, and it would be a great time for him to try and pull something out again.
Yeah, and he's going to find an instant headshot on the Brand Slam. It's exactly what you see. Pocket Scout down for the side of Corsia, but he's going to get pressured out by one of the soldiers. See if they can find him a space to find some more shots in here, maybe look for something. They are going to slow him down pretty significantly. That scout fry does matter quite a bit. It forces Yite to be the one capping, and they can't go forward without a scout, realistically. So it's going to slow them down a little bit, but AZN's only at 80%. There's a small window for them to go. They can take Yite here and on the Uber, but it's getting dangerously close at 95. AZN's just about to get this, and it doesn't look like they're going to get it, but it looks like Corsia wants to come in anyways. They're getting stuffed in this top right. Solar's going to be in, trying to find a frag here. AZN's so weak in the air, 10 HP. Who's going to crater there if he didn't pop that Uber. Really good trip plays out of Trip juggling AZN in the air there.
And AZN scares me. Sometimes he just holds on the Ubers way too long, and a lot of times he can cost his team, but it looks like they're going to try and get a force here onto Zilly with some players. FrickMyNick able to get a rocket off, but not much else. And that looks like that's going to be their second with basically full Uber ad here. Corsia is looking to close out this match with a push in the last. From the right side, going to take Brand Slam. No jump from Alex.EC yet. Light jump, get the sentry on the right. A lot of pressure on point here. Oh, Dingo absolutely destroying Brand Slam on point. A lot of pressure on the point. Morning Light is doing pretty good job of trying to spread here. AZN still alive, healing, but just the point pressure is going to close out the match. Corsia taking it 5-0 about 20 minutes.
Yeah, that was a blinder of a game. Like, we didn't really get the predictions in the pregame, but I expected it to be not so one-sided. But that was very, very one-sided.
Well, you know, I don't think it's weird to say that Corsia are probably feeling themselves right now after the slobber knocker that we saw last night, them going up against Furry Attack. You know, they're probably feeling pretty confident, and the way that they played really showed it.
Yeah, I was going to say, and one of the points I wanted to make between these two teams, especially when you're kind of vying for like one of those top spots, I feel like a large part of it is kind of that mental edge that you have, and I think confidence is a huge thing when you're playing. And, you know, if you're beating Furry Attack, especially in matches, it's a huge boost to your confidence. And I felt like Morning Light was one of those teams that came into the season that had a lot of really good scrim results, so they came in playing really hot. And to kind of go back into the history of these two teams throughout the season, the first time they met, it was 4-3 in favor of Morning Light. They were barely able to squeak that one out. And the second time they played, it was 5-3 for Corsia. So the fact that it's 5-0 in this third match, especially with playoffs just around the corner, I think is a even bigger confidence booster, along with beating Furio for Corsia. And I think they're really cementing themselves as that top 1 to 2 team.
Yeah, and I think something that's really interesting is you look at Brand Slam's DPM in the first half. He had 200 and basically 300 DPM. Brand Slam was absolutely owning the entire server in the first half. In the second half, it was just a matter of, like, I feel like Morning Light had so many opportunities, but they kind of blew them just off of miscoordination and not able to get really that good of an Uber off, you know. And credit to Corsia, they did a really good job of scattering whenever Morning Light did have Uber advantage, and they were just able to, they just outbrained them because the mechanics are there.
The outbraining part, I think, was really smart, but I think the logs, I don't know if you guys are seeing this, but Saigai had 70 DPM in that second half, and he had 0 kills, and one of the points I wanted to make, especially on the last holes, is Sai was struggling to find an impact. On the eye test I saw that, but, 70 DPM is, like, that screams, I've been shot, like, the entire game, and I'm not finding any impact.
No, that's well put, and, that, sometimes that's how it is, a big part of it is whether you're able to find those opportunities for yourself, but when you're being beaten pretty handily as a demo man, it can really feel like you're being strangled a bit.
Yeah, and I think the scouts were kind of finding some openings, like Alpha was able to find that pick on Sniper, along with finding a couple kills on Scout, and like the Scouts played really well in the second half. I felt like as a duo, they were holding hands and doing a really good job of focusing targets, and that kind of shows in their damage. But I think just in general, the projectile classes were definitely on the losing side of things for Morning Light. I don't know if it's just a lack of practice on the map, but they definitely have a lot of things to talk about on Villa, because particularly on Villa compared to the last two results, like, again, we didn't get to predictions with not enough time, but I definitely would have predicted this to be like a minimum 5-2 game, right, for either one of these teams, or even like a 5-1 at a bare minimum. Like, the fact that Morning Light didn't get rounds obviously shows that there was a huge flaw in either how they came prepped for this match, or they didn't come into this match prepared to play Villa at all.
Yeah, I think that's pretty reasonable.
Yeah, the experience really shows. I think Corsia, like, obviously, Grand Slam is he's fairly new to the invite scene, but he's taken the reins, and he's an incredible scout player. He really showed in the first half, and he closed it out in the second with Yite by his side. Yite, a very experienced player, probably mentored Grand Slam a little bit as far as brain stuff and TF2 goes, but Grand Slam really doing a great job as pocket scout.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and I think that showed a lot in like the transition plays where, the Morning Light players were trying to find any sort of opening onto Zilly. Zilly had half the deaths of AZN in both halves, and had a fair amount more heals in the first half. I want to say it was like 1,100 to 10, like just shy of 1,100 to just shy of 1,000. So 100 more heals per minute. 100 health, especially in like a longer team fight, matters quite a bit. And he was able to find traps. Like, I don't think Saigai found a single trap kill the entire game, with the exception of the one time that Corsia was pressuring into last, and then they just doubled down and won the round anyways.
Yeah, I think you really see that confidence from Corsia, being able to push in, just punish teams, and it's going to be interesting. Obviously, there hasn't really been a lot of competition for Froyo, and now that we finally have a team that's sticking together, playing a lot, I think they're looking to be a pretty big threat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if we have a lot more to find from logs. That was kind of a beatdown, all things considered. Like, Winning Light did have that, like, really good. They did win that one mid. Dingo was able to find the pick on Zilly on the mid, and they were able to take it and push into last, but they just really weren't able to crack the shell on last, and that was, I think, what Sandblast said in chat was pretty indicative of that. When they got on the second, he goes, "So this is what blue second looks like." I think that was the only time that they were really on the offensive all game, and they looked decent when they were on the offensive. Like, they knew what to do with their advantages, and that part of their plan looked flushed out, but they definitely have to rework some of the ways they want to play this map defensively, particularly their last ults, because Corsia was finding tons of value in their pushes into last. I don't think they beefed a single one.
Well, even when, like, I think they beefed one last push, but it ended up just being like two players would run behind, cause some chaos, like kill 3 people. AZN would get caught with like 96%. Like, they would lose. They would lose the most impossible to lose rounds just from simple mistakes, like putting a soldier in front of our medic, or like have our medic not eat garbage to the flank players. Like, I feel like Morning Light did have some good defenses, but there were also some that's like, you just have no chance with AlexExe.exe bombs, hits 2 pipes on your medic. What can you do?
Yeah, like I said, I think they need to kind of go back to the drawing board, like with their positioning. Where like AZN standing, like maybe put them in one of the spawn doors a little more passively. Again, the drawing board is going to be the place that you really want to see Morning Light, because they are currently seated in 3rd. And they did beat Corsia early in the season. They definitely shown they have what it takes to take it to Corsia, and they've had good matches and good showings against Froyo. Froyo looking pretty beatable this season, especially after taking a loss to Corsia yesterday. So
wasn't it a loss in like a 4-5 or something like that?
It was a 5-4 game on Villa, but I think
didn't they like play 2 games against Corsia last night?
Yeah, they played a double header. So they played them on Snakewater, where Froyo won 5-4.
Yeah.
And then they played on Villa, and then they won, or Froyo lost 4-5.
So maybe Corsia just has figured out Villa before everyone else has.
Yeah, that's also
that's
true.
A very real possibility.
I was gonna say, I think it was one of the Ascent teams in previous seasons that Yite was included on, that figured out Propaganda when Propaganda was in the pool very quickly, and they were like undisputedly just like unbeatable on that team. And you saw the 2 seasons that they played Furyo in playoffs, Furyo insta-banned that map. Like, Furyo's always been kind of shaky on maps like Granary, and that's kind of been their go-to bans across, like, you know,
Granary,
as a
also a map
general
they
trend.
lost to Ascent.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as a general trend, Furyo's not been a big fan of that map, but, you know, Furyo's historically been like, oh, we're good enough at the game, right? We're a long-sitting enough core that we can apply our fundamentals to every single map. But, you know, they were favoring banning that map, like a newer map, over like their historical weaknesses. So it wouldn't surprise me to see Furyo ban that coming playoffs, but it's definitely a very good pocket pick. I mean, they've shown that they were able to beat the long-standing best team in the game, or at least in North America, on the map, and then turn around and absolutely dunk on the team that's sitting in third in the standings right now. So a very good showing out of Corsia. I'm very excited to see what they're going to bring come playoffs.
Yeah, well put. I'm excited for it. And playoffs are starting soon, right? This is week 7.
This is week 7, so we'll have like another week or so of matches. We'll have like a full week 8, or we'll have like half a week 8, because I think each team is going to play each team 3 times, so it'll total 15. So we'll have like 7.5 weeks of matches. So we have about another half a week to go. Most teams have like 1 or 2 matches left, except Corsia. Corsia's only played 10 matches, so they've got a few more to go to catch up. But yeah, the playoffs race is definitely still on, and there's going to be good things to see as we continue our coverage of RGL Season 4. But I don't know if we have too much more we want to add.
Let's say Ash finally got out of prison.
Oh yeah,
yeah, he did
see the return of Ash too.
Yeah.
Infamous RGL League.
RGL League super soldier.
Yeah, true.
Really good league.
Looster, you do me a favor. Can you make my camera bigger, like as big as you can make it? Please. Like, I know my camera's like 640 by 4. You guys need to understand, my webcam is an iPad duct taped to my wall. So I don't have a whole lot of control over the positioning or anything like that.
Of course not, of course.
It's not really duct tape. It's like an adhesive wall mount, but you know, I don't really have the opportunity to move it.
I want to see BILLDOZER's face live on stream right now.
Yeah, can we just get a cam of just the BILLDOZER's face?
Wait, where? Oh,
he's gone.
where?
He's gone.
He's gone. I was about to say. He just disappeared. Wait, what about what about the background?
Just wait.
If you guys,
The boys.
you may have noticed behind me, I'm here with oh no, I'm gone.
You're with
My
the
stream is way
boy.
behind y'all's. I've got the boys here. My beautiful friends of this is like season 20 Froyotech or something. Some of you new Zoomer kids.
That's season 16 for Froyotech. Good.
Yeah,
sir.
you're right. If
You're being
It's the only
corrected
one
by
we have
the
on-
Zoomer right
ancient
now.
It's the only
gamer
one we have on
Froyotech.
TFTV.
I just googled Froyotech and then used that as my background.
There's a funny story. I was watching a CSGO clip today, and it was just like, I think it was at a LAN or something.
No, okay,
and
I know
then
the exact clip you're talking about. It's the
yeah.
clip of Shroud on Cash. I brought
Yeah.
this up to some people the other day. It's a famous clip of Shroud on Cash. I think he like clutches out with a CZ or something like that.
he's
That was at
sitting-
GXL
yeah.
2014. You can see Clockwork standing behind them. You can see Showstopper on the other side of the table. And I remember I was sitting like 2 tables down from them. So
Yeah.
from let me from right, I guess on y'all's screen. No, from left to right, we have Blaze.
Oh.
Oh no.
I think you're cutting out, Bill.
Anyway.
But hold on.
Hey, he's back. He's back.
Oh, he's back.
Oh, sorry. I might have forgotten to press my push to talk. But it's very interesting time in the world right now, and I want to show you guys why that is.
I saw that clip and I was like, wait, is that Banny, dude? Is that Banny? Like, there's no way. Oh, dude,
Let's
look,
go.
it's BILLDOZER.
So,
Well, look
not
at
that
all
TFTV is
530
the
and,
most
like,
official
12
news
votes.
source, but we're happy to announce that BILLDOZER has won the presidential election.
Yeah,
in
the
a
ATV
landslide.
I approve
TF2
this.
scene.
I approve.
I'll be taking over the TF2 scene in place of Derek Sigafu.
This
and
is
my reign of terror.
This is
Should I paste that screenshot in an announcement?
This is the BILLDOZER Super
Yes.
Wizard League. welcome.
Yeah, 6 dozers
All-
coming back.
All
The Bulldozer
members
Super Wizards
are
will be-
required to submit to Cthulhu and read the Bible.
No,
I have a
I
question.
didn't. I never had anything serious to add.
I have a question for the Bulldozer. Who's
Yeah,
your
what's
vice
up?
president?
Me.
Mustard Overlord.
God bless.
Yes, my
There's
favorite
never
Team
any
Fortress 2
doubt.
communist.
Alright, well, I think that's all we've got for tonight. I'm going to sign us off here. This has been teamfortress.tv. This has been our continued coverage of RGL Season 4. This has been Week 7B, Morning Light versus Corsia. I've been FrickMyNick. I've been joined by BILLDOZER, Scream, and Looser200 on production. I hope everybody has a great night.
Peace out.
Yep, you'll have a good night.